Wanted to take a couple minutes and talk about why Toledo is a great place to invest and also do investment properties. One of the first things is Realtor.com said Toledo was one of the most affordable places to live. Also means it's one of the most affordable places to buy a house. If you're thinking about investing as far as holding houses and renting them, Toledo has no shortage of property management companies, which I think is a plus, especially if you're an out-of-state investor. I also think that there's a great value for flips. I can tell you that because personally, I bought several houses last year for $30,000, fixed them up, and got in the mid-70s for both of them. So there's not a lot of places with a small investment that you can get that sort of return. The rentals here also get well over 1% in most cases. So if you're buying a house for $70,000, in many cases, depending on where that house is at, you may be able to get $900 in rent for it. We're well over probably the national average of what those numbers dictate. Also, with the property management companies, if you're out of state or even if you're local, I myself use a property management company. Why do I use a property management company? I don't have to screen the tenants, I don't have to collect the rent, I don't have to take the service calls, I don't have to do the evictions. A good property management company takes care of all that for you, and there's no shortage of property management companies in Toledo. Also, if you look at Toledo as a whole, we have tons of manufacturing here. There's always people kind of moving in and out of town for manufacturing jobs and automotive jobs. So with that population, I feel like gives us exponentially a higher portion of renters. So we do have tons of renters here in Toledo, Ohio, which for someone that wants to buy and hold properties, like presents a great opportunity. And where do you find some of these opportunities? I think a good realtor that sells a lot of houses is going to have some of these off-market deals for you. You can also find them on sheriff's sale. You can find them at auctions and also by word of mouth if you get into some of the investing clubs. And I think one of the other nice things about Toledo is I talked about some of the lower end stuff that I did, but I also recently had a house that sold for $150,000. The house is probably worth $230,000. However, a hoarder lived in the house. It needs to be cleaned out. It needs to be gutted. It needs to be remodeled. Tons of work to put into this house. However, if it's done properly, there's also a lot of upside. So I think that's one of the things that make Toledo great is if you want something on the lower end price-wise, you have the ability to do that, to flip it or to rent it. If you want something on the higher end, you have the ability to do that also as a rent or as a flip. So I think depending on what you're looking for, Toledo gives you the opportunity to do things either way.